Good afternoon, Honors Algebra. This is the flipped lesson for Friday, November 4th. I hope I can keep this straight because I'm finally starting to get ahead, like I said I wanted to. All right, so by now you've taken your quiz. Hopefully you were ready for it and you did extremely well. And now we're ready to go a little deeper in the chapter. You might remember a few days ago, you did some problems where you were given like 2 points. And you had to figure out the slope and write the equation. And there was a couple of them in the homework that I said you just weren't able to do yet. The book kind of slipped them in a little too early. You weren't ready for them. Now it's time for them. So we're going to learn how to write. Oh, no, I'm not in writing mode. We're going to write linear equations when we only know 2 points. And it really isn't that hard. At first, it's going to seem kind of magical, like, how'd you do that? But the good thing about the video is you'll be able to watch it again and again. Maybe you can watch it with a father or mother or brother or sister or something like that, and maybe they can catch on and explain to you. So hold on 1 minute while I find a couple of points. Points, where are you, points? I still can't find those points. Oh, pardon me, I think I'm going to sneeze. Achoo! Oh, there they are. Cool, I found my points. All right, now that I have my points, I am going to show you how to find the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points. I am going to go right into slope y-intercept form. This is a pretty cool way to do this. Now remember, slope y-intercept form includes, or looks like this, y equals mx plus b. That's important. I am going to use that equation twice, not once, but twice. All right, first of all, I need my slope. So I'm going to do my work to find my slope. So let me get a different color. My slope work I'll do over here. I know I'm going to subtract my y's, and they will rise to the top. And then I will subtract my x's. And that fraction ends up being 1/2. So I know that my slope is 1/2. If I wanted to, I could write part of the equation off to the side here. Y equals x plus b. And I'm going to stick the 1/2 right there. All right, so I've got my slope. Now, if I only knew the b, the y-intercept value, I could go ahead and write the equation in slope y-intercept form, and I would be done. Problem is, I don't know what b is. Neither of my points has an x-coordinate of 0. Hey, but check this out. Isn't this an x value and that a y value? The 6 and the 8. And the 4 is an x. And the y is the 7 is a y. Excuse me, I wrote the wrong thing there. Pardon me, let me fix that. That's an 8, parenthesis, and that is a y sub 2. No, I just did it again. Oh, Mr. Lawrence, what are you doing? I'll blame it on my cold. There we go, y sub 1. Now, step 1, we found the slope. Find slope. Step 2, we're going to pick a point. Now I got to warn you, especially if you're weak with fractions, sometimes you will pick a point and it'll make the work very, very difficult. Okay, sometimes. If you are weak with fractions, please come and see me and I can help you get stronger with them. It is never wrong to pick the first point. It is never wrong to pick the second point. But sometimes the math will come out easier. I know that I have a slope of 1/2. I also know that slope is being multiplied by x right here. I want an x coordinate that 1/2 will multiply against nicely, prettily, that's not even a word, in a pretty way. So it comes out to a whole number or an integer if possible. Now I still know you don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to pick a point. Let's say I choose 6, 8. I'll explain later why I chose 6, 8. So I'm going to choose the point 6, 8. I know that the 6 is an x coordinate. I know that the 8 is a y coordinate. I'm going to take my equation y equals 1/2 x plus b. But instead of writing a y, I'm going to put the 8 in place of it. I have my 1/2 there. Instead of writing an x, I'm going to put the value of 6 there because I know 6 is an x coordinate. So I'll put, oh no, fiddle faddle. I'm going to put 6 in the place of x. And I'm going to have just a plain old b. Now you see, initially I had 4 variable-like things, y equals mx plus b. Found the slope, I filled in m. I filled in an x value and a y value. I didn't get to make them up. I didn't pick any x any way I want. I had to pick them from one of the points. I could have used 4 and 7, in which case I would have had a 7 here. That would have equaled 1/2 times the quantity of 4 plus b. I'm going to put that red equation off to the side for a minute. So I'm going to come back to it and show you it didn't matter which point to pick. Now that I've chosen my point, I'm going to solve this for b. So step 3 will be to substitute in or plug in. So step 3, substitute for x and y. Step 4, where are you, step 4? Oh, 4, 4, 4. Step 4 will be to solve for b. Okay, so I'll go back up here and I'll solve for b. First thing I'll do is I'll have 8 equals 1/2 times 6. Well, 2 is going to go in there, going to go in 3. Okay, so I get 3 plus b. If you were thinking 1/2 times 6 would have turned out to be 12, no sir, no ma'am. 2 times 6 is 12, that's 1/2 times 6. It's got to be less than that, so it's 3. Now, on this line right here, b is not alone. I will subtract 3 from each side, and I will get a y-intercept of 5. Now this is the really cool part. And you've got to be careful. It's so simple, but kids like to do it wrong. Step 5 is to write the equation. So here's what I'm going to do. My equation has to have variables in it. It has to. Y and x. I know in the last step I substituted in values. I'm not going to substitute in values for y and x. I am going to have a y equals. I know my slope was 1/2. Now I'm going to leave x in as x, if it lets me write. And then I'm going to add my y-intercept, my b value. That is my equation. That is the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points, the points 6, 8, and 4, 7. I think that's pretty darn cool. It's a little bit long. And you've got to be careful on this last step. You've got to have, must have x and y in your answer. Oh, possible situation, only one of them, but you can't just have numbers in their place. You need to have an equation so that we could generate a t-table, draw a whole line. You're not going to put all 4 numbers in. All right, if you put all 4 numbers in, you'll end up with a statement that's infinitely true. Now, remember I said I was going to use the other one to show you it didn't matter which point I picked. In this setup, I've used the point 4, 7. I've plugged 7 into the y spot, 4 into the x spot. My slope is still 1/2. So I'll have 7 equals 2. 1/2 times 4 is 2 plus b pardon me, and I will subtract 2 from each side, and then b will equal 5. Notice that's the same answer I got on the other one. So I will write the equation y equals, put in my slope, 1/2 x plus, put in my y-intercept, which is 5, and there is my answer. It does not matter which point. I'm going to do another one, and I'll take baby step it for you because I know this can be a little bit confusing. Hold on one moment. Let me find those points again. Ding nabbit, where are those points? Points, points. There they are. Oh, it's like magic. All right, so I've got my 2 points. Remember, I want to write my equation in y equals mx plus b form. My first step is going to be to find the slope. So I will do my slope work over here. I will do 6 minus 8 over 6 minus 3. And I will end up with negative 2 over 3, and there is my slope. So now I know I have at least this much information. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus b. To get the b value, I'm going to pick one of the 2 points. I know my slope is 2/3. I know I'm going to multiply it by an x-coordinate. I'm going to pick an x-coordinate that will easily multiply by 2/3. Now in this case, it doesn't matter so much. I'm going to go ahead and choose the point 3/8 so that you don't get confused on where I put the 6, etc. So I'm going to need a 3. And let me see, I want my 3 to be blue, I believe. And then I'm going to want my 8 to be blue as well. All right, good. They are separated. I'm going to take the 8, because it is a y value, and substitute it in for y. I will take the 3 and substitute it in for x. Now I'm going to be careful, of course. I'm going to put my equal sign in. I'm going to put that 3 in parentheses. I'm going to need a negative 2/3 in front there. Then I need a plus b. All right, so I'm going to move that guy up like that, and I will put him over 1. Now check this out. I'm going to just do my algebra. I know that 3 divides into 3 one time, leaving my new equation to be 8 equals negative 2 plus b. Is the b alone? Why, no, it's not. The negative 2 is keeping it company. To get rid of that negative 2, Mr. Ambrose, I'm sure you're shouting at your computer right now, add 2 to each side. In which case, b will end up equaling 10. Now I know my slope. I know my y-intercept. I can write my equation. My equation will be y equals, I need a slope. The slope was negative 2/3 times x. Remember that x is not in the denominator. Plus, I need my y-intercept. That's 10. By the way, had I done my math here and b come out negative, then I would just write minus 10. It was a positive, so I just kept it positive. All right. I'll tell you what. You try it with the other point, the point 6/6. You already know the slope is negative 2/3. You go ahead and try it. See if you can come up with b to equal 10. I'll pause the video before you work, and then check and see how I do it. All right. Hopefully you got this much done on your own. Now you got to handle the negative 2/3 times 6. Go ahead and pause the video again if you haven't already done that. You'll see what happens in a moment. Now, negative 2/3 times 6 over 1 is the same as negative 4. 3 divides into 6 2 times. I have to multiply the black 2 by the red 2. Last step, add 4 to each side. B ends up equaling 10. You know the slope is negative 2/3. You know the y-intercept is 10. The equation is negative 2/3 x plus 10. Please note that you do not have to do every problem 2 times. I'm just trying to emphasize how you don't have to, it doesn't matter which point you pick to do. Sometimes the math will be easier with one point than another. All right, you may want to watch this a couple more times. Before you do that, I am going to give you 2 more problems that you can try on your own, and I will provide you with the correct answers. Hold on one moment. Okay, so these are problems 47 and 49 from page 250. They're the ones that I didn't realize were in the homework a few nights ago that you weren't equipped to do. I want you to try them on your own now. You may want to watch the first part of the video again to see what to do. Go over your steps. Go ahead and pause. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and then the answers will appear. They won't appear step by step. They'll just be there, but you'll be able to follow them down. Okay, so let me do that. Oh, I will warn you that the y-intercepts do not come out to be whole numbers in these cases. All right, they come out to be mixed numbers. Okay, go ahead and pause. Now, I'm not at the final solution yet, but I do want to point out that the slopes both end up being 4/9. That is just a coincidence. Let me get that out of the way. Let me scroll back up here so you can see my work. All right, I wrote down y equals mx plus b, and then I found the slopes of both lines. And again, it's only a coincidence that they came out to be 4/9. They won't always be 4/9. And then I plugged an x value, a y value, and the slope into the equation y equals mx plus b, and I'm planning on solving for b. I'm pausing here because I want to draw attention to the multiplication here. I know that 3 goes into 3 once and goes into 9 3 times. So that fraction will turn out to be negative 4/3 down here. That's where the negative 4/3 is coming in. You need to be good at fractions to do algebra. Please come see me if you're not. Over here, it's not going to be quite as simple, but it's not difficult. I know that I've got a 9 and a 6. I know they have a common factor of 3. I know it's division. I'm going to divide out a 3. I'm going to divide the 6 by 3, turn it into a 2. The 9 by 3, turn it into a 3. Now I have 4 times 2 divided by 3. Well, that will be 8/3, and it looks like I have a small mistake there. Good thing I did this to catch it. That'll be 8/3. Now, I sometimes like a mixed number, sometimes improper fraction. This is a situation where I like the improper fraction. I'm going to rewrite this line as 2 equals negative 1 and 1/3 plus b. Over here, I'll have 8 equals 2 and 1/3 plus b. All right, I'm going to get b alone. Now look, I'm going to add 1 and 1/3 to each side, right? Well, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus another third means that b must equal 3 and 1/3. And I'm going to leave it like that. It's easy. So now my equation for problem 47 is y equals 4/9 x plus 3 and 1/3. Okay, over here on the right, I've got 8 equals 2 and 1/3 plus b. I know I'm going to have to subtract 2 and 1/3. I'm going to be careful here. I know that 8 minus 2 is 6. But I'm not taking 2 away, I'm taking another third away from it. So my answer can't be 6, my answer has to be 5 something. Well, if I take 1/3 of the whole away, there must be 2/3 left. So b will equal 5 and 2/3. Therefore, the equation is y equals 4/9 x plus 5 and 2/3. I don't know. I'm not sure how fractional phobic you guys are yet. This is where we find out. Maybe we'll have to take a day and have a video just on manipulating fractions that way. All right. I hope you have a great weekend. It was about a 20-minute video. Please watch it more than once. Please come in Monday ready to be able to write equations in slope y-intercept form when all I give you are 2 points. We'll get practice. I'll be in the room. It's okay if you're not an expert, but please make sure you've watched this video more than once. Don't save it for, last thing Sunday night. All right. I love you guys. I think you're doing a great job. I'm loving doing these flip lessons. Mr. Lawrence signing off.